Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name's Emma, and if you're not new here, we have a little bit of a different video than what I usually post. I just completed reading 7 books in 7 days. Yes, 7 books in 1 week, which is crazy because normally I would say an average reading month for me would be 6 to 8 books in 1 month, and I managed to read 7 in 1 week. Originally, this was gonna be a reading vlog of me challenging myself to see how many books I could read in 1 week, but to be completely honest with you, I flew through them so quick that I didn't even have time to pause and pick up my camera and share thoughts and reactions and all of those things. So instead, we're just gonna do a rapid fire of my thoughts and opinions on the 7 books that I was able to finish in 1 week. The super fun part about it is that every single book I read in those 7 days was a holiday themed book. So like I said, this was originally supposed to be a vlog, and it was going to be a holiday themed vlog of me challenging myself to read as many holiday books as I could before Christmas came. I also really wanted to challenge myself to do this because before doing this, I was extremely behind on my reading goal, and I thought there was absolutely no way I was gonna hit my reading goal by the end of 2025. So I spent this 1 week just basically devouring holiday themed books, and I do think I'm gonna hit my reading goal. I'm currently 1 book away. I'm filming this with 3 days left in the year. So fingers crossed that I hit my reading goal. Back to the topic at hand, even though I was not able to get actual vlog footage of me going through these books, I thought it would be so much fun to sit down and chat about all the holiday books I read because there was a lot of them. So when I started searching for books that I wanted to read for this challenge, I obviously went to TikTok first, and I think I literally just typed in what are good holiday book recommendations, and I found one video in particular that was giving recommendations for short holiday audiobooks, and I was like, this is perfect, this is exactly what I need. The shorter the better. The shorter, the closer I am to reaching my reading goal because I'm gonna fly through these faster. So the first few books I read were from a recommendation video I found. If I'm able to find that video and that creator, I will put her handle up here somewhere. If I am not able to find it, I am so sorry, but this creator had really great recommendations for audiobooks. And I started off with a little, I don't know if I would call it a series, but it's kind of like an interconnected standalone series, but each book was written by a different author. But like the book covers match and they're all holiday themed. So I don't really know the technical term for what that is, but essentially it was a series of sorts. And the first book out of those that I started this challenge off with was called Snow Place Like Home by Laura Pavlov. And until this book, I had not read anything by Laura Pavlov, but I had heard really good things about her books before, so I was super excited. This is a cute, sweet, quick, fast-paced holiday romance that follows childhood best friends Ace and Goldie, and I also want to say it was like the brothers' best friend trope. I read so many of these books that it's kind of hard to keep them all straight in my mind. I want to say it's her brother, which is Ace's best friend, is getting married to this other girl, and they are both, as in Goldie and Ace, are both the maid of honor and the best man in the wedding, and it's gonna be a Christmas themed wedding. And I want to say they like maybe hadn't seen each other a while, and they're coming back to their hometown for the first time in a while, and sparks start to fly, and they both kind of realize that they're into each other and have had a crush on each other for a really long time. And I won't give too much else away, but that's kind of the premise of our story. I absolutely love a childhood friends to lovers plotline, but when you throw in the brothers best friend trope, it's perfect. I had a really good time reading it, and I think I flew through it like in 1 sitting. I ended up settling on a 3-star for this book. I typically don't give novellas over 3 stars unless it's absolutely phenomenal, and given that this was a pretty short story, it felt more like a novella to me, so I feel like 3 stars is pretty good. It was exactly what I was looking for. It was exactly what I needed, but it's nothing I'm gonna be thinking about for the rest of time. Then I jumped into the next book in that series situation, which is Marian Bright, which is written by Ali Rosen. I'm not really exactly sure how you pronounce her last name. I also had never read anything by this author prior to reading this book, but now after finishing it, I'm kind of intrigued to look into what else she's written because I really enjoyed this one, especially considering how short it was. This one follows Miriam, who's sort of dreading going home for the holidays for Hanukkah with her family, and then our main male character's name is Din. ditto, which I thought was kind of funny. But he's a professional football player also going home for the holidays. And long story short, they strike up a deal that is like a fake dating type of situation, which I always eat up in a book. But I think the reason I enjoyed this one so much is that even though it was super short and it was your typical like cheesy holiday rom-com-y book, both characters had like a lot more depth to them and there was a lot more emotion going on in the story, and I was really surprised with how much of a punch this book packed considering how short it was and how just like sweet and cheesy it was. And then somehow Ali Rosen was able to incorporate those other elements. I really enjoyed it, and I almost wish this book could be a fully fleshed out novel. I feel like I would have liked it even more if that was the case. I ended up rating this one 3.25 stars, which I know sounds really picky and particular, but for me, given how short this book was, I feel like that's a very, very good rating. Then I jumped into the third book in that same type of series situation I was talking about, and it was called All Wrapped Up in You. This book is by Rosie Danan, and it's about our main female character, Piper, who is a stand-up comedian, and our main male character, Scott, who is an ER nurse, and their neighbors. I don't want to say too much else, but I also really enjoyed this one and feel like I would have liked it even more if it was more fleshed out or even a full-length novel. I also had not read anything by this author before, and I am now intrigued to look into what else she has. Then I jumped into the fourth and final book in that series type of deal, and it was called You Better Not Pout. This one was by Mia Sosa, and once again, I have never read anything by this author, but I feel intrigued to look into what else she's written after finishing this one. This one had a super interesting plot line. It's about a couple that's been together forever. They've been engaged, super close with each other's families, but they have recently broken up and broken off their engagement, and they go home for the holidays and essentially make a deal to keep it a secret that they're broken up until after the holidays. So I won't say anything else. You guys know how those type of plots go, but I loved it. I ate up every single second of it. I also gave this one 3 stars. Then I read Resting Scrooge Face by Megan Quinn, and I chose to read this one because I read a Megan Quinn book last year around the holidays. I think it's called 'Tis the Season for Revenge. I'll put the picture of the cover up here. I can't remember exactly what it's called or really even what it was about, but I remember that I enjoyed it and it was exactly what I needed at the time I was reading it, like right before the holidays, just wanting something cute, fun, and quick. So I decided to pick up another Megan Quinn book, which, like I said, was Resting Scrooge Face. I did also listen to this one on audio, and just like all the ones I've talked about before, it was super short, sweet, quick, easy to fly through, very Hallmarky and cheesy, but like what else do you expect out of a holiday rom-com? This one follows Nola and Caleb. Nola is returning back to her hometown for the first time in a while after having this horrible heartbreak over Caleb. They'd been together, broke it off, and haven't had communication in years. Now she's home for the holidays, and she's kind of a little bit of a Grinch or a Scrooge, if you will say, and he's kind of also the same way. And that's really all I'm gonna say, because I feel like if I say too much more, it kind of gives away the whole entire plot of the story. It's definitely a second chance romance type of vibe, and I thought that trope fit perfectly in a holiday romance book. I don't think I enjoyed this one quite as much as the other ones I talked about previously. Something about it to me was a little bit too cheesy and at times cringy. That's not to say I didn't enjoy it. Once again, it's exactly what I thought it was gonna be, which is cheesy, but it was a bit much for me, if that makes sense. I ended up settling on a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Not that I wouldn't recommend this book, especially around the holidays. Like if you're looking for something good to read, this one would be a great option. But out of all the books I read for this challenge, this one was probably my least favorite. Then I jumped into a magical realism romance new release, I believe, that was also my December book of the month box pick, and that is Good Spirits by BK Borison. And I have never read anything by BK Borison before, but I always hear raving reviews about their books. So I was super excited to see it was an option on book of the month. One, because it was a holiday book and I thought that was perfect for December, but two, because I've been looking for an excuse to read a book by BK Borison. Like I said, this is a magical realism, so it's kind of hard to explain what it's about. So I'm just gonna read the little synopsis for you guys. It says, he's the ghost of Christmas past, she's not exactly Scrooge. Ghost of Christmas past, Nolan Callahan, intends to spend this holiday haunting like every other. Get in, get out, return to his otherwise aimless existence as a ghost awaiting the afterlife. But when he's faced with Harriet York, the sweetest assignment he's ever had, he suddenly finds himself wishing for a future. Harriet York has no idea why she's being haunted. She's a good person, or at least she tries to be. A people pleaser to her core, she always does what's expected of her. But as she and Nolan begin to examine her past, they discover there are threads that bind them together and realize there might be more to moving on than expected. I'm not going to read the rest of the synopsis because I feel like it low-key gives too much away, but that's the premise of the book, and whenever I first read that before starting the book, I was automatically hooked and automatically intrigued. I love a magical realism, but then throw Christmas ghosts and holiday magic in there. I was super excited to dive into it, and it did not disappoint. B.K. Borison's writing is so beautiful, and in a way it almost reminds me of Ashley Poston books. I don't know if that's just because it's magical realism or if it's the writing style also, but I absolutely love Ashley Poston, and to me this book was very reminiscent of hers, so thoroughly enjoyed this one. I did settle on rating this a 4 out of 5 stars, but honestly, the more I think about it, I might bump that up to a 4.25 out of 5 stars because I found myself thinking about it even after finishing it. Highly recommend. Obviously, it's a holiday book, so it would be perfect to read around the holidays, but I think this book would hit at any time of the year. And to finish this off, the 7th book I read in 7 days leading up to Christmas was called Her Last Christmas. And this one is very, very different from all the others because so far all the ones I've talked about have either been like holiday rom-com or magical realism, holiday romance. This one was a holiday thriller, which I don't even think I knew was a thing, but I actually found it on my like Audible Plus options, like the books that come for free on Audible. If you don't know what I'm talking about and you have an Audible account, if you go to your profile and scroll down, there's something that says like the Plus catalog maybe, and if you click on that, you can scroll down and it shows you books that are currently available for free to listen to on Audible. Like it'll show you different genres like sci-fi, fantasy, thriller, romance. I think it even had a section for holiday romances, but I found this just under the thriller category, and given that the word Christmas was in the title, I was intrigued by it and decided to listen to it. This book is by Claire McGowan, and it's about our main character who coincidentally is named Emma, and she goes with her boyfriend to this bougie ski resort with all of his friends. I want to say she's a lawyer, and the boyfriend is like running for political office of some sort. I'm not totally sure, but essentially the boyfriend and all of his friends are super, super rich. So when I read that in the synopsis, I was like, yes, rich people drama in a thriller, give it to me. I absolutely love that and eat it up every single time, but I digress. Emma, our main character, goes with her boyfriend and all of his rich friends to the ski resort to celebrate the holidays, and things don't go as planned. And that's all I'm gonna say. The plot twist at the end, I guess plot twist, I did see coming, but this was a very, very short book, so I feel like it was probably difficult to build up the suspense necessary for the plot twist to be shocking, if that makes any sense at all. I still really enjoyed it though, and I was very, very hooked. Like sometimes when I listen to an audiobook, it becomes a little bit more of like background noise, but with this one, I was tuned into every single word of this story, and I'm definitely gonna be looking into Claire McGowan and seeing what other books she has out. And those are the 7 holiday books I read in 7 days. I apologize again for this not being a vlog style video like I intended, but nonetheless, I wanted to share my thoughts with you guys because I've never done a challenge like this that is so specifically themed in such a short amount of time. And if you guys are looking for any books or audiobooks to help you finish your reading goal as quickly as possible, or even just to get through short books, I would definitely recommend checking out your Audible Plus because that's where I found a lot of these, and it was just fun to spend a week right before Christmas fully immersing myself in holiday books only. It definitely got me more in the holiday spirit and holiday mood, and I think I'm probably gonna do this again next year. Let me know in the comments if you guys have read any of these books and what you thought of them, and also let me know what your favorite holiday books are so that I can add them to my TBR for next year. Be sure to stay tuned for my upcoming videos. I have a lot of exciting things coming at the end of 2025 and beginning of 2026, so make sure to subscribe, like, comment, all of those things so that you don't miss anything in the future. And if you're interested in checking out my other content, I will have my Instagram, TikTok, and Goodreads linked in the description below if you'd like to follow me over on those, or you can always check out the videos I have posted on here currently. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.